Right.
Baby, I'm calling out, save me, I'm going down. Take me to another town where I can rest my bones, I can rest my bones safely. Even when I'm together, I'm miles apart. Feel I'm running forever, get back to the start. I don't know if I'm broken or if I am just not trying, but we're feeling alive even when we are slowly dying. Shine a mirror on me. See my reflection, who am I really supposed to see? Who am I really supposed to see? Who am I really supposed to see?
get it.
Just a couple of minutes until we start our second qualifying session of the PS4 finals, and what a final race we had there. That was incredible for race number one. Fantastic win there for Rory Skinner, but a heated battle going on behind him between Michael Weddle, Jason McCleary and Martin Buchan. Hopefully we're going to have more of the same in just a couple of minutes time. If you've just joined us, a very warm welcome to the stream. Apologies for the technical issues there. We do hope they're all sorted out now. This is the finals of round 3. We had qualifying heats during the week. The PlayStation 4 guys and girls were on Tuesday, the Xbox One were on Wednesday, and then the PC guys and girls were on Thursday. They then qualified themselves through to the finals that happen tonight, and then we do it all over again for the final time next week, where we have changed it slightly. We are going to Silverstone GP, and we are still in the Porsche GT RSR 24-hour, the endurance version of that car. It's going to be an amazing session. We are going to be doing something special for everyone. We're going to be doing a race through the night, so we start in-game time at 7 o'clock, 60 times time progression, which means that we race through sunset into the dark, and then we race through sunset as well. So some special racing, hopefully in store for us next week. But without further ado, we're just about a minute away from qualifying, getting underway for our second and final PS4 final of the evening. So we'll jump back to the music, and when we come back we will have action on track. As you can hear, the cars are out on track, and it might already be a little bit out of date, but this is how the points were standing as we went into the evening. It was Michael Weddle with 77 points. Darrell Adams, you can see why he was so keen to get himself up there, was on 50 points. Sam McKenzie was on 45, Elliot Lethwaite was on 44, Martin Buchan was on 37, Ian Sloss was on 32. But as said, we will we'll quickly work out those points on the fly before we get the PS4 done and dusted for the evening. So as you can see, cars are on track just now, and what we will do is we'll take a very quick break while we're doing that, so we can mute the in-game chat so that you don't hear anything unsavoury. So the cars making their way around for qualifying just now, and a very good evening to everyone that is joining us on Facebook Live and on YouTube as well. We've got 1 minute and 25 seconds left to go, and we have 2 cars joined on exactly the same qualifying time. We've got Jason McCleary and Michael McPherson on a 48.133, but that has been well and truly eclipsed, because here comes Martin Buchan 47.128 with Rory Skinner in second place with a 47.681. Now the times are starting to come in. Jason McCleary puts it down to a 47.746 as well. Ian Sloss is up there as well with a 47.819. But yeah, this is now starting to get a little bit hectic here, because there's Callum Henning up into the mix as well with a 47.702, and we've got 6 cars separated by 0.8 of a second, and this is only qualifying, and this is going to be the final lap just now. We've got Michael McPherson joining the 47 party with a 47.978, as well as Michael Gray 47.820, and we've got even more coming into the party as well. My goodness me, that is Darrell Adams with a 47.480, and we now have 8 cars within 0.8 of a second here. Oh my goodness me, what is going to happen on this race? This is sensational qualifying going on right now. Callum Henning jumps up into 3rd place there, as we've got Finlay Brunton into the party as well, and we've got 9 cars within 0.8 of a second. Qualifying is complete then, and the cars are on their final qualifying lap here for the round 3 finals on the PlayStation 4. This is of course the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship, and this is the penultimate round of the Spring Championship that we are holding. We will be holding another championship very, very soon, a slightly more serious one, higher stakes, but let's have a look at this. My jaw is on the floor right now, because I need to tell you, as it stands, Martin Buchan is on pole from 1/10 of a second over Rory Skinner there, but more importantly than that, we have 12 cars within 1 second. 12 cars. Goodness gracious me. So it's Martin Buchan from Rory Skinner, from Michael Weddle, Aidan Sloss in 4th place, Darrell Adams in 5th, Callum Henning in 6th, it's going to be Michael Gray in 7th, Finlay Brunton in 8th place, 9th place is Elliot Lethwaite. We have got, who's that in 10th? That is Jason McCleary all the way down in 10th place, Michael McPherson in 11th, James Stephen in 12th place, and Chris Paziuk in 13th place. Here we go then, the last race of the evening for the PlayStation 4s, and we are ready to go. The lights are coming on here at Brands Hatch, and away we go. It's a long hold, and we've got a jump start at the back there. I think that was Elliot Lethwaite who got caught up in that, but it's Martin Buchan into the lead. Rory Skinner still in 2nd place, and there's contact behind 3rd and 4th place. That was Michael Weddle and Aidan Sloss involved on that. It's a drag race up towards Druids for the first time, and there's cars going sideways. my goodness me, something had to give there, and somebody's car has just been sent to the scrapyard. That is Ainsloss and James Stephen coming into contact there, and Ainsloss's car, well, we've mentioned we should get WeBuyAnyCar.com to sponsor the stream here, but no such luck after that one. And look at that, Michael Gray loses it on the exit of Clark there. Just too much power, and these G55 GT4s are very, very difficult to control. And into the lead again, it's 2 out of 2 so far for Rory Skinner. Have a look there, because Martin Buchan now having to hold off on Michael Weddle. This is sensational performance here from Rory Skinner. Callum Henning in 4th place from Elliot Lethway in 5th. We've then got Finlay Brunton in 6th place, Michael McPherson in 7th with Michael Gray in 8th place, and then it's Jason McCleary with Darrell Adams in 10th place, Ainsloss in 11th place, and then it's James Stephen in 11th place there. Wow. Just wow, wow, wow. James Stephen having a bit of a moment on turn 3. Back with your leaders though, and we are down to 12 cars. And again, we'll have to find out who has disconnected there, but this is a sensational final race for the PlayStation 4 here. As Rory Skinner has half a second of a lead over Martin Buchan, and Michael Weddle in 3rd place, desperate to try and get that 2nd place. And he does have the pace there, but I wonder if he's got a slow down penalty there, because he is dropping back significantly to Elliot Lethway in 4th place there, and Finlay Brunton up into 5th. As we see James Stephen retiring from the race as well there. So it's Rory Skinner from Martin Buchan in 2nd place, Michael Weddle in 3rd place, Elliot Lethway in 4th, it's Finlay Brunton in 5th place, Michael McPherson in 6th, we've got Jason McCleary in 7th, Michael Gray in 8th place, we've got Darrell Adams in 9th place, Ainsloss in 10th, and 11th place is Chris Paziuk. And we are on to lap number 4, and we're going to be crossing the line to start lap number 5 of the PlayStation 4 finals here. A very good evening to Glenn Alcock, who should have been racing here tonight. Unfortunately, he was murdered on his heat. He was launched 400 might be an exaggeration, but about 40 foot into the air, much like Ainsloss was earlier on in this round. So hopefully his car will be making a speedy virtual recovery, and we'll see him back to Silverstone next week for the qualifying heats. But back with tonight, and just a way to put another lap off here is going to be Rory Skinner. And that gap has come down now to 0.6 of a second. It was up to a whole second earlier on, but Martin Buchan now starting to put young Rory Skinner under a little bit of pressure here as we reach the halfway point in this race. Michael Weddle dropping off significantly now. He's 1.6 seconds behind the race leader. Elliot Lethway isn't really going to be much of a trouble right now. Just about 4 seconds behind that group, but here we go, this lead group now starting to close up quite considerably, and this is going to shape up to be a very, very exciting finish here for this PlayStation 4 race. Some great points for Martin Buchan and for Michael Weddle, but making a significant impact is going to be Rory Skinner, and he makes a mistake on the exit of Clark's here on lap 6 as they go across the line to start lap number 7. What happened to Rory Skinner there? Martin Buchan round the outside and can't make it happen onto turn 1 there, but the pressure is well and truly on Rory Skinner now. He takes a defensive line on the entry to Druids, and this is going to bring back Michael Weddle as well. And I told you this was shaping up to be a cracker of a finish, and we've certainly not been spoiled here. The pace is relentless. Michael Weddle that last lap there did a faster time than your pole sitter. Michael Weddle did a 47.080 there. Rory Skinner having to be very defensive on the entrance to Clark's here. There's contact, a little bit of rubbing there, and that's going to be the race lead handed over to Martin Buchan, and potentially Rory Skinner losing out on second place as well, because Michael Whittle loses it on the entrance to the final corner there. Somehow kept his foot in. I have absolutely no idea what I just witnessed there, because Michael Whittle's car was, last time we saw, 90 degrees sideways and facing into the pit wall, but he survives and only loses 8/10 of a second there. But your race leader now is Martin Buchan, starting to make a bit of a stretch for it. 1.2 seconds with just 4 laps left to go in the race here. So it's Martin Buchan from Rory Skinner from Michael Whittle, and then it's Finlay Brunton in 4th place. It's going to be Jason McCleary in 5th. It's going to be Mikey Gray in 6th place. Michael McPherson in 7th. Ainsloss moves up into 8th place there. Elliot Lethwaite has a disaster and drops all the way down to 9th place there. And then it is, of course, Darrell Adams in 10th place. And then 11th place is Chris Paziuk. Lap number 9 out of 12 though, and what a race we've had. We've had pretty much everything. We've had carnage, we've had proper fights, we've now got just action going on, because Martin Buchan, I don't know why the pace has fallen off for Rory Skinner and Michael Whittle on that last lap there, but it has, and the two of them have fallen well and truly by the wayside of your race leader here, Martin Buchan, who comes across line start lap 10 out of 12 here. Well, this is certainly starting to simmer away now. All the action seems to have just bubbled away, because Michael Whittle now dropping well off the back of Rory Skinner there. He's now coming into the clutches of Finlay Brunton, who might be eyeing up that final podium place along with Jason McCleary. Goodness knows how Jason McCleary has done that. Jason McCleary was right at the back of the grid and he's pulled himself all the way up into 5th place there, and the pace is relentless from these front 8 cars. It's all within 3-4 tenths of a second of your leader's pace right now. In fact, the fastest man on the track is Michael Gray with a 47.2 that last lap round. Meanwhile, your race leader now just a second ahead of Rory Skinner is Martin Buchan. We're on the penultimate lap here for the PlayStation Finals. It's been a brilliant effort for Martin Buchan. He's held in with the patience and really had to stick in at making this work. Rory Skinner though is charging. He's pushing everything that he can right now. I don't think it's going to be enough, because that gap is still a second as we come across the line. As Martin Buchan starts his final lap of the race here for the PlayStation 4 Finals. Michael Whittle drops off the edge of a cliff. He's now 4 seconds behind that battle, but Rory Skinner sticks with his man. 8/10 of a second. That gap come down very, very slightly. Martin Buchan's starting to feel the pressure now. He's only got 3-4 more corners left to go, and look at that, Rory Skinner just throwing everything he possibly can. But it's all about Martin Buchan for this final race for the PlayStations. And that's a very, very wide moment. That's going to be Martin Buchan surely with a slowdown penalty. That might hand things to Rory Skinner. It's 5/10 of a second. Is it going to be enough, because Rory Skinner's got the momentum? Let's have a look here. He comes across the line. Martin Buchan takes the win from Rory Skinner. 3rd place is going to be Michael Whittle. 4th place is going to be Finlay Brunton, who decides to end his car as he comes across the line there. 5th place is going to be Jason McCleary. 6th place is Michael Gray. 7th place for Ainsloss. Elliot Lethwaite in 8th place. 9th place across the line is Darrell Adams. That might change though as Michael McPherson comes across the line. It doesn't. And then Chris Paziuk in 11th place there. An amazing, amazing final race for your PlayStation 4 runners and riders. There we go then, confirmation that Martin Buchan is your race winner from Rory Skinner, and then in 3rd place it is Michael Whittle. We're going to take a very, very quick break. When we return, it's going to be the turn of the Xbox racers. We'll be right back. And just like that, hope you enjoyed your little break there, because it's time to get excited again. It's time for for the finals, but it is time for qualifying for the Xbox One for their first race of the evening. And boy, oh boy, what a race we have got lined up for you tonight for this one. As you can see there, we've got Chrissy Miller, we've got Stu Winus, we have got... let's have a look here. We've got Stu Winus, Owen Phillips, Tam Hamill, Johnny Edwards, Cal Morrison. We've got Sam Moody, Danny Cesar, Jim Lethwaite, Josh McNabb, who made a stunning debut this week. Grant Angus, Gary Robertson, Aidan Wilson, Jonathan Atkinson, and Charlie Hand. That is who we have got looking to get themselves up onto the top step of the podium today. Without further ado then, let's jump over to the live stream from Brands Hatch. And we can see Aidan Wilson there. So qualifying underway, and we have got 4 minutes left to go. Ah, that awkward moment when you think you've muted the mic, but you're actually taking a drink of juice. Never mind. Right, 3.5 minutes left to go in qualifying. And as you can see, we're still waiting on some of the drivers to actually put times in here, because what happens is when you come out of qualifying and you start digging away, the tyres are cold when they come out of the pits. It's not like a race where the tyres are already warmed up. They start off stone cold. There's very little grip and very little traction in the cars, so it's very important to get some good fast warm laps into these tyres, and that is what's going to help bring down your lap times. Because you'll see here the guys are doing low 49s and maybe low 50s. That'll very quickly change, because they're going to get 2 or 3 more laps out of these tyres, and then we kind of go on. So a very good evening to everyone that is in chat. We've got John Glover, we've got Keir Riley, we've got Oxzilla, we've got Andy Sedgley, Edward Porter, William Black, John Glover, and many others. So a very good evening to you that are in YouTube chat, and a very good evening to everyone. Ailey Margaret Mercer is in Facebook as well. She's wanting to give a big shout out to Mr. McNabb, young Mr. McNabb, of course, making his debut this week. SDBX wins. Josh McNabb is looking to get his paws onto the podium there. And just having a look here, let's see, we've got Johnny Edwards at the back there, we've got DK Smoody, and there we go, that's Josh McNabb up there, up into 5th place there. But now we're starting to see the times coming down. Here we go, 47.114 for that is Aidan Wilson. And we also see that's DHD Motorsport, that is Danny Cesar. Danny had a brilliant time in qualifying. We have got just 1 minute left to go in qualifying. And what you'll notice, ladies and gentlemen, is that the cars may jump about a little bit more than they do in the PS4 and the PC versions. What's happened is that the bandwidth has been turned down from Microsoft in order to deal with the increase in popularity, so that does have a knock-on effect for us watching, but it doesn't have any effect for the drivers at all. So the drivers will still see it as normal, but we'll maybe see some peculiar things like cars jittering about, but we'll get through it, make our way through it, and it won't detract from any of the enjoyment and proof that it doesn't affect the drivers at all. Because look at that, Aidan Wilson, 46.788. That is the fastest time by far that we have had tonight. We've seen a 46 flat in the PCs, but this is very fast when it comes to PS4 standards. So that is a huge lap there, and it just shows you how quickly things change, because we've now got 11 drivers within 1.5 seconds of your race leader. Very fast lap for Ian Wilson. But if we take it from Danny Cesar, we've actually got 10 cars within a second of Danny Cesar there. So fantastic lap for him, as we see him making his way around the rest of the track just now. So it is Ian Wilson from Jonathan Atkinson, Danny Cesar in 3rd place. We've got in 4th place Tam Hamill. 5th place is Chrissy Miller. We've got DK Smoody, that is Sam Moody in 6th place. We've got Grant Angus in 7th. We have got the Darku, that is Gary Robertson in 8th place. Charlie Hand in 9th. We've got Josh McNabb in 10th place there. 11th place is going to be Jamie Lethwaite. Johnny Edwards, excuse me, jumps up in 11. We'll pretend that I didn't just mention that name. But there you go, Ian Wilson from Jonathan Atkinson and Danny Cesar is your 1, 2, 3. Tam Hamill starts in 4th place. Let's get underway with your first race of the night for the Xbox then. And we are very excited for this one to get kicking off here. So, just a reminder then, Ian Wilson from Jonathan Atkinson, Danny Cesar in 3rd place. It's going to be Tam Hamill in 4th, Chrissy Miller in 5th. You've got Sam Moody in 6th, Grant Angus in 7th, and then in 8th place you've got Gary Robertson and 9th place as well. But here we go, the cars are on the grid here for our first race of the Xbox One finals for round 3. And away we go, it's a stunning start there from 4th place. Up towards 2nd already. That is Tam Hamill, who has absolutely lit the touch paper right there, and that is a stunning start for him. He moves up into 2nd place. We'll have a look there. Grant Angus up into 5th as well, and we've got a car straight on in towards the barriers there. That is let's have a look there. That is Tam Hamill, who has just went straight on at Druids there. I wonder if there was contact there, because that's also Danny Cesar that is running very slowly indeed there. He's down into 3rd place, but it's still Ian Wilson from Jonathan Atkinson. Danny Cesar, we saw a car going way across the grass there. That was Sam Moody, as he has got, who's that there on the inside of Sam, loses the place to Charlie Hand there. So Charlie Hand up into 5th place, and we've got a car into the pits as well. That is Jamie Lethwaite, who's taking a drive through, as well as Stu Wyness. So the two of them getting jump start penalties, and meanwhile your race leader Ian Wilson ahead of Jonathan Atkinson. And it is a 4-way scrap right now. That's the only way you can describe it, as we see Grant Angus up there with Danny Cesar, and it's side by side in. Ian Wilson is going to lose the lead potentially here to Jonathan Atkinson on lap number 2, and he does. Jonathan Atkinson in the lead. Oh my goodness me, a huge hit there, and that was Ian Wilson with Danny Cesar, and I think Danny Cesar absolutely overcooked that corner there. A huge contact there, and that did not need to happen. Well, that was a bad accident there for Danny Cesar. So Jonathan Atkinson in the lead then from Grant Angus, and Sam Moody in 3rd place. Charlie Hand up into 4th with Gary Robertson in 5th, and then Ian Wilson in 6th place. So huge drama, and this has now meant the field has completely spread out. 1st to 14th place is now 24 seconds, and it is a 2-car battle for the lead between Jonathan Atkinson and Grant Angus, who is just under a second behind him. But then it's another 2 seconds to Sam Moody, and then another 0.8 of a second behind him to Charlie Hand. We see Grant Angus still desperately trying to hold on to the back of Jonathan Atkinson here and we're already a quarter of the race through. We'll nearly be coming up to halfway through in just a couple of laps time, but Jonathan Atkinson still leads from Grant Angus, Sam Moody in third place, and Charlie Hand in fourth place. Now Gary Robertson has got a time penalty as well. You can see that from the red mark to the left of his name. Now he's going to have to be careful, because that's going to allow Ian Wilson to get through, as we see Danny Kazar through into sixth place. And apologies if we are destroying his name. I'm being reliably informed by Wheeled Motorsport on YouTube. So yeah, give us a little PM and give us some directions on how to pronounce that name. But Danny up into sixth place there nonetheless, and he has got a lot of pace in that car. Back with your leader though, Jonathan Atkinson, and strikes off lap 5 into lap 6 then. And Grant Angus still holding on, just not as much as he'd like to, because that gap is now down to 1.5 seconds, so half a second taken out from that last lap round there. Sam Moody though is coming under pressure here from Charlie Hand. Charlie is no slouch, 48.057, and something must have happened that last lap round to Sam Moody, because that last lap was a 49.3, so that's about a second and a half of where we know that Sam can qualify. Yeah, John, that's an excellent point there, that you know, Danny could well take a podium here. He's certainly got the pace for it, and if this happens, he's certainly going to get 5th place for sure, because Gary Robertson has got a time penalty, and that is almost certainly going to drop him behind Danny there, and it's just a case of another 3 seconds for that chase down the podium. He's only got 5 laps left in which he can do it, so it's going to be a battle of the a battle against the clock, really. Right, let's have a look at your race leader then, because Jonathan Atkinson is now pulled another 2 seconds out there from your 6th place man Grant Angus. Sam Moody now. Look at Charlie Hand here, really starting to apply that pressure there, and as we see Danny Kazar having real problems with his connection there, sliding about all over the place, but from what he'll see, he'll be absolutely fine. He'll be just racing around the track as normal there. But Grant Angus now drops to that 2 second mark, and this is really the battle that we've got left going here, because Sam Moody coming under real pressure now. It's now 0.2 of a second to Charlie Hand in 4th place, so they're fighting for that final podium spot. And I think any chance of a podium is now gone for Danny, because you know that last lap was a 48.1, and that was about 4th fastest, so he's not making any big gains on the guys in front. However, that is barring anything happening between Sam Moody and Charlie Hand here, 3rd and 4th place respectively. We've got another 3 laps left to go in this first race, and we may not have the drama that we had in the PS4 races, but we certainly have intrigue by the bucket load. Further down in 9th place is Johnny Edwards, chased down by Jamie Lethwaite, and then in 11th place is Chrissy Miller. They are quite tightly packed together there. A little cheeky flashing lights there from Jamie Lethwaite, just trying to put his opponent off. That's a bit naughty, but you know, what are you going to do? Johnny Edwards then still in the lead. To see a little bit of a wiggle there from Chrissy Miller, and back up to that battle for 3rd and 4th, and it's now down to what's that, 0.3 of a second, so it's not really coming down that much. Charlie Hand doesn't have tons more pace than Sam Moody in front of him, and I think Sam Moody is actually going to control this race very nicely. Meanwhile, there's Danny Kazar up into 5th place, and he's now just 3 seconds behind that battle for the final podium spot. As we see Jonathan Atkinson, your race leader, into the final half of the circuit there. He's only going to have 2 laps left to go after this one is done. And Damien Hirst Racing, yep, that's a very good point. Very surprised to see Chrissy Miller so far down. He's fighting though with, let's have a look here, Jamie Lethwaite, who's now at the back of that group, and Oh no, that is not good whatsoever. Jamie Lethwaite has been left into the edge of the grass there. Chrissy Miller survives and gets his way out of that one. And also another man that I'm surprised to see so far down is Ian Wilson. Ian Wilson was doing really, really well there, but he's just been dropped by that front group. And have a look at this though, Sam Moody. Now what has happened to Charlie Hand actually, because we've seen Danny Kazar has moved up into 4th place. Hold the presses here, because we've only got one more lap to go, and Danny Kazar is up into 4th place. He could very well take this final podium position. This is absolutely unreal. Where has that lap come from? And Danny Kazar really taking that time down there. Thought he went straight off at that second to last corner there, but it wasn't to be. Look at the pace that Danny Kazar has got on Sam Moody coming out of that final corner there. Danny Kazar looking left, looking right. They're side by side coming into Druids then. It's going to be Danny Kazar up the inside. He can't make it stick. Sam Moody defends that line. And we will have to have a look at the replay to see what happened here. But Danny Kazar is all over the bootlegs here of 3rd place. Can he do it? But we're going to have to divert our attention, because here he comes, your race winner from start to finish then. And it's going to be Jonathan Atkinson to take the win here on heat number 3. And it's a great first race win for Jonathan Atkinson. Grant Angus with a brilliant 2nd place. But here we go. Sam Moody is going to take 3rd place from Danny Kazar there. 4th place then to Danny Kazar. 5th place to Ian Wilson. 6th place to Charlie Hand. 7th place is going to go to Gary Robertson. 8th place is going to go to Tam Hamill. Johnny Edwards in 9th. It's going to be Josh McNabb in 10th place. 11th place is going to be Jamie Lethwaite. We've got in 12th place, that is Cameron Morrison, and Stu Winus in 13th, and then Chrissy Miller dropping to the back of the field. What a race we had there. Race number 1 in the books then, and we'll take a very short break. We'll be back in 10 minutes time for race number 2 of the finals for the Xbox One.
There's an evil inside, just looking way down below. And if I can't hold my breath, then I'm bound to become hollow. Can you say that I disappeared? Can you say that I wasn't there for you when you went into hiding on the front steps of your porch? Then I reflected on the memories, but I put out that torch. Hey! So now can you tell me when you want to be in time? There's a million different places and a million different heights. I'll climb the tallest of the mountains, the highest place I find, so that I can look over before me what is mine. Can you say that I disappeared? Can you say that I wasn't there for you when you went into hiding on the front steps of your porch? Then I reflected on the memories, but I put out that torch. Hey! But I put out that torch. But I put out that torch. Oh, why can't you see it was all because of me? And all I want is to be free, and finally I can be free. Can you say that I disappeared? Can you say that I wasn't there for you? Can you say that? That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for.
Let's get it. Right.
Baby, I'm calling out, save me, I'm going down, take me to another town where I can rest my bones, I can rest my bones safely. Even when I'm together, I'm miles apart. Feel I'm running forever, get back to the start. I don't know if I'm broken or if I am just not trying. But we're feeling alive even when we are slowly dying. Shine a mirror on me. See my reflection, who am I really supposed to see? Who am I really supposed to see? running forever, get back to the start. I don't know if I'm broken or if I am just not trying. But we're feeling alive even when we are slowly dying. Shine a mirror on me. See my reflection, who am I really supposed to see?
Qualifying is about to start then for race number 2 for the Xbox One finals. You can see there who is taking part. Now we have had to unfortunately drop one driver from qualifying, potentially. We'll give you an update on that in just a second. Danny Kazar won't be able to rejoin into the next race purely because his network connection was so unstable. We saw him moving about all over the place after confirming with all the other drivers it was actually doing that for them. So we have asked him if he can possibly use a wired connection. So if we can get him back in, we will try and do that if we can. In the meantime though, we have got 13 cars reconnected to our second race. They are currently starting qualifying yet again. Then another 5 minutes qualifying. We are running jam packed on time. I've got no idea what was actually trying to say there. We'll just ignore it. It's fine. And let's have a look then at the qualifying as we get underway. Then we'll switch to our action cam, and we'll give them a couple of minutes, and we'll rejoin them shortly. Qualifying then is nearly over, and again no surprises to see Aidan Wilson at the top of the timing screens there, 46.523, and closely followed by Josh McNabb there, 47.119. Jonathan Atkinson in third place with a 47.475, and Sam Moody in fourth place as we speak there. So yeah, some big times coming in. We've now only got 12 cars in this final. And a very good evening to David Taylor Piggott joining us on the stream with his usual charm and panache as always. And Sam Moody decides to bin it on the exit of Druids. That's not so good. Right. Let's have a look here. We have got 7 cars within a second of each other from second to 9th place there, but Aidan Wilson though is absolutely away with it, 0.6 of a second ahead of Josh McNabb there in second place, Jonathan Atkinson in third place, Sam Moody qualifies 4th with Tam Hamill in 5th, Charlie Hand in 6th, we've got Stu Winers in 7th place, Grant Angus in 8th, potentially going to do something better there, I doubt it though. We have got, that is Boss Lambo, that's Callum Morrison in 8th place. So, another pole position there for Aidan Wilson, and we get ready for our final race of the night with the Xbox contenders. Aidan Wilson from Josh McNabb, Jonathan Atkinson, Sam Moody, Tam Hamill. We've got Charlie Hand in 6th, Stu Winers in 7th, Grant Angus in 8th. We've got Cameron Morrison in 9th place there. 10th place is Gary Robertson. 11th place is Jamie Lethwaite, and then right at the back is... We'll have to go and check actually. Right at the back is Johnny Edwards. Right, the lights are about to go on here for the final time for the Xbox contenders at Brands Hatch. They hold and away we go, and a storming start for 5th place there. That is that Tam Hamill again? It is. He was absolutely flying off the line there as they make their way down in towards turn 1. We've got action going on behind there. I think that was Charlie Hand getting involved that. Jamie Lethwaite there, and let's have a look here. Tam Hamill caught up in incidents again, and Tam Hamill now down into 8th place there, and it's all kicking off here as we see Aidan Wilson fighting off. That is Josh McNabb there, and Josh McNabb makes a move up on the inside. They're side by side, a little bit of a touch there, and the car gets unsettled. Josh has to back off, and that's going to allow Jonathan Atkinson to come up to this little fight as well. 0.8 of a second separate top 3 after lap number 1 here on the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. Charlie Hand is up into 4th place, and then Gary Robertson is up into 5th place as well. Tam Hamill recovers into 6th place, and it is all kicking off up in towards Druids for the second time. There's a huge accident. Johnny Edwards goes flying sideways and ends up taking out, I think that was Grant Angus who's been taken out there as well. Oh my goodness me. Well, Stu Winers, Grant Angus, Johnny Edwards all involved in that one, and that was a silly manoeuvre there. And just a friendly reminder that we are saving all the replays, so we will be looking at all of the incidents that happen. But wow, there was a huge moment there, and a lot of virtual pennies being spent in repair bills. There goes the no claims bonus. Josh McNabb still in 2nd place. Sensational debut for this young lad, son of Stevie McNabb, and no stranger to a fast car. Aidan Wilson though, absolutely on it again. 46.881 that last lap round, and that is qualifying pace for him. Jonathan Atkinson trying his best to hold on to that group, but he's been dropped now 2.5 seconds behind the leading 2, and then it is a case of the best of the rest. Gary Robertson in 4th place, Tam Hamill now up into 5th place with Charlie Hand down into 6th, Sam Moody down into 7th, we've got Jamie Lethwaite in 8th place, we've got Cameron Morrison in 9th place, we've got Grant Angus down in 10th, Stu Winers in 11th, and then Johnny Edwards in 12th place. That is a very, very good question, Damien Hirst. I've got no idea what has happened to Chrissy Miller. Chrissy Miller is not actually in the server anymore, so I'm going to presume that he has given up the ghost after qualifying. Let's have a look back up at your leaders though. 2 seconds of a gap between Aidan Wilson now and Josh McNabb. Josh McNabb now falling firmly into the clutches of Jonathan Atkinson. As we see the cars coming across the line to start lap number 5 here at Brands Hatch. Look at that beautiful virtual sunset that we've got going on here, and perfect backdrop, the perfect canvas for this action that is unfolding in front of our very eyes here. Just a reminder that next weekend we are changing what we were due to be doing. We were supposed to be going to Spa, we will now be at Silverstone Gp instead for the final rounds. We've got qualifiers on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we've got the grand finals on Sunday as well. And it'll be very interesting to see how the points actually stack up onto that one, because Aidan Wilson, if I recall correctly, is on something like 75 points. In fact, let's have a look here. Aidan Wilson has absolutely flown away with this championship so far, so it'll be very, very interesting to see if anybody can make any attempts on him just now. 90 points it is as it stands. This is before this final this race weekend just now. So Aidan Wilson was on 90 points, Tam Hamill was on 68 points, and William Black was on 39 points. So it's another perfect performance, and if I'm right in saying, I don't think that Aidan Wilson can be caught now, given that there is 50 points on offer here. If he takes another 50 here, that's 140. I think that we may very well see Aidan Wilson being crowned champion tonight after 4 flawless wins here. But that is by the by for just now. We go back with second place, and Josh McNabb currently making his way round. He's now 0.6 of a second ahead of Jonathan Atkinson. You can see there they've both dropped off the back of Aidan Wilson. 2.5 seconds your leader has flown away by, and it looks like it could all be in the bag. And now Josh McNabb needs to hold on here, because Jonathan Atkinson has actually got a time penalty on his car. You can see that there with the red colour just to the left of his initials there. So that means that he has got some sort of a time penalty against him. 4th place at the moment for Gary Robertson, but chased really hard down. Oh, we see a beautiful move up the inside there from Tam Hamill, makes it stick, and that is a fantastic move there for 5th place. Tam Hamill on the charge to make the comeback. He is the second part of that puzzle, that Aidan Wilson puzzle, and he really needed to get a win here. Every point is going to count, but he needed to get a win to stay in contention with this, and at the moment it does not look likely so far. Lap 8 out of 10 then, and look at this cracking little battle that's setting up now here between Josh McNabb in second place and Jonathan Atkinson in third as well. They are now just 0.4 of a second separating those two drivers, and I wouldn't put it past Tam Hamill to get up into 4th in the next 2 laps or so. So your leader Aidan Wilson goes cross line to complete 8 laps, and we start lap number 9 then of the Xbox final, race number 6 for the Xbox. And Aidan Wilson has been absolutely dominating this so far. 4 wins out of 4, he made it 5 wins out of 5 tonight on that last race there, and he's aiming to make it 6 out of 6. And if he does make it 6 out of 6, my terrible, shoddy, on a paper napkin maths says that he is going to be crowned champion. Tam Hamill up in towards 4th place. I called that it was going to happen, and he has now got 7 seconds. It's surely going to be way too much in 3 laps. He's fast, but he's not that fast. Tam Hamill takes 4th place from Charlie Hand. So let's have a look at this battle for second place then. It's still just 0.3 of a second. Let's go on board with Jonathan Atkinson. There we go, so we're riding on board, chasing down Josh McNabb. inhalation of breath because I feel like I'm going to need it. This is setting itself up. Because have a look at Jonathan Atkinson. Surely he's now got the toe with this little Ginetta G55 GT4. Just 2 laps in which to do it. Here we go, down in towards turn 1, and he's closer than he has ever been. Onto the back. Is it going to be a move into Druids there? He moves out to the slipstream. Josh McNabb, very, very intelligent defending there. Takes the inside line. That compromises his exit out of that corner, but I think he's going to live to tell the tale there, and he's going to make that move in towards turn number 4 there. Very, very nice from the two of these drivers. Very respectful driving right now going on here in this Xbox final, and we are about to start our final lap. Aiden Wilson is about to make it 6 wins out of 6. He's just got 1 lap standing between him and the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship, but again we will hold off on the celebrations until we actually confirm that he has done that. I think so, because Tam Hamill needed at least 2 wins and then 2 wins next week as well to catch up, and he has definitely not done that. So Aiden Wilson then on his final lap. Just 3 corners left to go. It's been a brilliant performance for Aiden Wilson. Not just here at Brands Hatch, but last weekend at Oulton Park. And then the weekend before that at Knockhill in the Formula Rookies, where it all began. It's going to be race win 6 out of 6 in a potential championship. We'll confirm that very, very shortly. But Aiden Wilson wins race number 2 for the Xbox. Second place, a well-deserved second place to Josh McNabb. Third place goes to Jonathan Atkinson. Fourth place is going to go to Tam Hamill. A stunning recovery drive there for Tam Hamill. Fifth place is going to go to Charlie Hand. Sixth place for Gary Robertson. Seventh place is going to go to Grant Angus. Eighth place is going to go to Sam Moody. We've got Jamie Lethwaite in ninth place. 10th place is going to be Johnny Edwards. 11th place, just coming round just now, is Stu Wyness. And then it is Cameron Morrison in 12th place. But there we go. So that is 140 points for Cameron Morrison there. For Aiden Wilson. And like I say, I think that now means that Aiden Wilson is your SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship winner. But again, we will confirm that very shortly, because it all depends on how many points Tam Hamill got this weekend. So we'll do some very, very quick maths very shortly. And there we go. We have got 10 minutes now of a break until your PC finals for round number 3. But there we go. Aiden Wilson takes the win from Josh McNabb. It's going to be in third place. It's going to be Jonathan Atkinson. Tam Hamill in fourth place. Charlie Hand in fifth. Gary Robertson in 6th place. We've got Grant Angus in 7th. 8th place for Sam Moody. Jamie Lethwaite in 9th place. Johnny Edwards in 10th. Stu Wyness in 11th. And then Cameron Morrison in 12th place. So there we go. That is your final race of the night for the Xbox One. We will say thank you very much and goodbye to them, and we will take a short break. When we return, we will be back with live coverage of our final set of races tonight. That will be the round 3 finals for the PC. Here we go then, the excitement really starting to build because this is the creme de la creme coming up. The PC is on the way shortly, qualifying is on the go, and we will be live over to the track very, very shortly. Here is a look at the leaderboard after race 4 then. We have Craig Lax, the Nemesis 69 on top with 78 points, fighting furiously with John Munro in second place, 69 points. Lorenzo Turi is not joining us this weekend because he didn't make it through qualifying. He's on 61 points. Ross McGregor is with us tonight. He is on 53 points. Luke Kidsley does not join us this weekend. He's on 30, but Gunblade 770. Steve Quinn does join us. He is on 28. Kieran Smart on 26. David Simon on 26 as well, and Peter Moore on 24. We do have more drivers underneath that, but that is how the top of the leaderboard looks tonight. Here we go then. We have got the following drivers in for round 3. The finals, races 5 and 6. John Gronkowski leads out the field then from Richard Crozier, Peter Moore, Owen Ross. We've got Steve Quinn, we've got Craig Lax, Ross McGregor, Mark Richards, James Glendenning, Blair McConaughey, John Munro, David Simon, Michael Johnston, Kieran Smart and Mark McPhee. That is your 15 drivers for the final. We've got 14 out of the 15. I think we might be missing Mark McPhee. But we will find out very, very shortly. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's take you tracksides. And you can have a little look there. And if I'm clever, we'll even get some onboard audio. There we go. So, qualifying, 3 minutes 22 left in the session. And this is going to be an absolute stormer of a final race. Here we've got, obviously, we've got your 2 championship leaders, John Munro and Craig Lax. They're going to be duking out. They have been mighty, mighty fast. We've seen low 46s. I even think we saw a 46 flat earlier on in the week. So we'll see how fast these guys can take the cars round. And look at that already. As we see Craig Lax and John Munro separated by just 0.2 of a second here. So this is going to be an awesome, awesome race coming up. And Ross McGregor now jumps up to the top of the timing screens, but that is met by John Munro instantly. 47 flat for John Munro. Ross McGregor 47.2. Craig Lax across the line does a 47.5. We've then got in 4th place, that is David Simon, 47.7. We've got Jordan Gronkowski, 47.7. We've then got Richard Crozier, 48.2. And then, wow, this is just melting my head. We've got 5 cars within 0.7 of a second, 6 cars within 0.8 of a second, and again, because of the heat that needs to come into these tyres after about 2 to 3 laps, we're now going to start seeing the times come down. Do not be surprised if we see 10 plus cars within about 0.8 of a second. That's the sort of time that I am expecting here, because these are mega, mega fast boys and girls out here on track just now. John Munro then, 46.541, the first of the sub 47 second times. Quickly followed by Craig Lax, 46.833, and now we're starting to see the times coming in here. This is awesome, awesome stuff, and this is only qualifying. So it's John Munro from Craig Lax, from Ross McGregor. 4th place is John Gronkowski. 5th place at the moment is Michael Johnston. 6th place is Peter Moore. We have got James Glendenning in 7th. We've got David Simon down in 9th place. You've got that is Gunblade 770, Steve Quinn down in 10th. We have got Seismica, that is Mark Richards in 11th. We've got Owen Ross in 12th place, Blair McConaughey in 13th, and then Kieran Smart at the bottom with a 48.335 in 14th place. So no real mean feat to be on that sort of pace. That's certainly still faster than I can do. But have a look at this. The big news is that the top 2, John Munro in 1st place and Craig Lax is now in 3rd, have been split up by that man there, Jordan Gronkowski, 46.819, and he could be going even faster still. John Gronkowski comes across the line. What's he do? 46.759. So John Gronkowski cements his 2nd place there. What can Craig Lax do to answer that? He comes across the line just now. Craig Lax, 46.801. So Craig Lax will not be on the front row of the grids. John Munro currently from John Gronkowski, Craig Lax, Ross McGregor. It looks like we've got some penalties on the go as well. You've got David Simon, then it is Peter Moore, then you've got James Glendenning in 7th. It's going to be Richard Crozier in 8th place. You've got Blair McConaughey in 9th, and then in 10th place is Michael Johnston. And 11th place is Mark Richards. We've got Steve Quinn in 12th place, Kieran Smart in 13th, and then Owen Ross at the back of the grid then in 14th place. Again, we have a couple of minutes just to let the guys load up their setups, make sure there's no issues with the car, and get themselves on track for our first final heat of the PCs tonight. What a race we have got in store. It's all about John Munro, John Gronkowski, Craig Lax and David Simon. All of those 4. Ross McGregor as well. They are well within chances of putting a hand on the championship. So ladies and gentlemen, place your bets for race 1 out of 2 then for the PCs. We've just got around about 30 seconds left to go. Nice little view of your pole sitter there, John Munro. As we still wait for the cars to ready themselves up. They get a maximum of 2 minutes to do that. And then once that has done, then we can go racing here. So again, it's John Munro from John Gronkowski. 3rd place is Craig Lax. We've got David Simon in 4th place. Ross McGregor in 5th. You've then got Peter Moore in 6th place. 8th place is Richard Crozier. Now we have lost 7th place there. That was, I'm not sure who was in 7th place, but they've disconnected from the race. The lights are on. Away we go then for race number 1 at Brands Hatch here, and it's a great start for John Munro. John Gronkowski gets a poor start and he's going to get eaten up here by David Simon. Side by side, 2nd and 3rd place then, as we see Craig Lax on the outside coming down in towards Druids for the first time of asking, and it's going to be into the corner for Craig Lax. He absolutely throws that car around and gets into 2nd place. John Gronkowski down into 3rd there, and he's under challenge from David Simon here. But it's still John Munro then from Craig Lax and John Gronkowski. We've got a car spinning in the background there. That is Blair McConaughey, who went very, very, very violently into the air. And where's Blair McConaughey going? Blair? Yeah, we'll totally distract ourselves from that. Blair McConaughey driving the wrong way. But have a look at this, because that is David Simon now under pressure from Peter Moore. Peter Moore slides it up the inside there. Beautiful move there. 3rd place for Peter Moore. But David Simon isn't finished yet. They're still going on the run up to Druids. It's a battle of the late breakers here, but he gets it done, Peter Moore, and tries to get it done. Oh, there's a bit of contact there from David Simon. That's a little bit naughty, but David Simon's now compromised his line, and he's under attack now from Ross McGregor and from Richard Crozier down in 5th and 6th place as well. So it's all going wrong for David Simon, and we're only on lap number 2. Is John Munro from John Gronkowski from Peter Moore. What has happened to Craig Lax? Hang on a second, Craig Lax is all the way down in 6th place there. We did not catch that one. That now leaves John Gronkowski with a bit of clear air, but more importantly, Peter Moore now onto the podium there. So a big, big moment there for Craig Lax. Oh, and there's contact again! He's hit Ross McGregor, and there's a huge accident on the run up to Druids there. There's 5 cars involved in that one, and that puts paid to Craig Lax's title hopes there, and they're going to have to get themselves sorted out. Because I think that was Ross McGregor there is upside down. And that was Richard Crozier with a little bit of unwanted aggression there. Well, Ross McGregor is... Pay your respects in chat, folks, because Ross McGregor isn't coming back after that one then. So we are down to 12 cars there, and a horrible, horrible moment there for Craig Lax. Now, look at this damage to his car. Thankfully, it's just visual damage. Your race leader though, John Munro, absolutely away with it right now. 2 seconds ahead of John Gronkowski, and then a further 1.5 seconds ahead of Peter Moore in 3rd place. We've got David Simon in 4th place, with Michael Johnston into 5th place as well. Owen Ross has somehow come from all the way back at the back of the grid up into 6th place. Craig Lax behind him, 7th place. 8th place is Kieran Smart, 9th place is Richard Crozier. We've got Steve Quinn in 10th place there, and then it's Blair McConaughey in 11th place there, getting a big moment. And yeah, that was very, very unfortunate there. I think the stewards will likely be having a word with Blair McConaughey after that one. Back to your race leader then, 2 seconds of a gap between John Munro out in front from Jordan Gronkowski. Third place for Peter Moore at the moment, and the gap is pretty much being held right now because Jordan Gronkowski doing similar lap times, 46.843, as we enter the halfway stage of the race just now. And Peter Moore now starting to come under pressure from David Simon. David Simon does have the pedigree, does have the pace to put a hand onto the podium right now. John Munro then currently clocks off lap number 6, and he's into his 7th lap of the race here. And it's been a fantastic performance from John Munro. We're usually used to seeing him behind the wheel of an MX-5 or taking part in various sprints and hill climbs here in Scotland. But he's certainly doing the Tin Top community very proud right now in this Ginetta G55 GT4. And he's holding his own against John Gronkowski, who, I've got to add, this being his first time in a final for the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship, is doing remarkably well. A lot of pace, and it just shows how unlucky he's been not to qualify for any of the finals before this. 3rd place for Peter Moore, and it's about a second of a gap he's got for OTL Dave Alex, who is David Simon. Behind him in 5th place is Michael Johnston. 6th place is Owen Ross, and then 7th place is Craig Lax. Kieran Smart is in 8th place, and then it is Richard Crozier with Blair McConaughey in 10th place, and 11th place for that is Steve Quinn, and then at the back of the grid that is Mark Richards. Now, what has happened to Peter Moore here, because he has fallen back from your top 2 there quite significantly, about 1.5 seconds there, and that brings the gap now to David Simon to just 0.8 of a second. We've only got 3 laps left to go here, excuse me, and 3rd place, that final spot on the podium, could very well change very, very soon. We'll keep an eye on that. That gap still is only 2 seconds between John Munro and Jordan Gronkowski, so Jordan doing an excellent job of keeping with your race leader. And we go across the line, start lap number 10 then. John Munro looking very, very cool, calm and collected up there at the front. John Gronkowski really though just has to stay calm, stay focused, and stay in second place. It's a good haul of points for him, and it puts him right on the leaderboard if he gets another great finish tonight. What this does do though, however, if the points stay the way that they are, I believe, is that this will put John Munro up to the top of the leaderboard, because as it stands, Craig Lax would get 9 points and would end up being on 87 points, and John Munro would end up on 94 points. So that would put John Munro up into the lead of the Spring Championship with just 3 races left to go. The second of the another race, of course, tonight, and that could extend or shorten the gap even more. Lap 11 out of 12 though. We're going to come across the line end for John Munro and start his final lap of the race. Maybe not the race that we were expecting to see. We were hoping to see a ding-dong battle between John Munro and Craig Lax in this one. It just wasn't to be. Craig Lax getting caught up in the instance of some other drivers there. We'll have to have a little look back. In fact, we've got 10 minutes so we can have a little look back and find out what happened to Craig Lax there. Maybe more than we can do for the consoles. But John Munro here on his final lap of the race. As we see, Craig Lax has actually got a position there. He's now up into 6th place. He's taken that 6th place from Owen Ross there. But it's all about this man here. As we see John Munro coming out of Clark for the final time. It's going to be a race win then for John Munro. 2nd place is going to be Jordan Gronkowski. It's a fantastic 3rd place for Peter Moore. David Simon is going to finish in 4th place. We've got in 5th place, that is going to be Michael Johnston. We've got Craig Lax going to come across the line in 6th place with what's left of his car. 7th place is going to be Owen Ross. Richard Crozier is going to finish in 8th. 9th place is going to be Kieran Smart. Blaine McConaughey in 10th. Steve Quinn is going to finish in 11th place there. And then at the back of the field is going to be Mark Richards to round off your first race of the evening for the PCs and the penultimate race this evening. What race we've had, guys. We'll save that replay and we'll take a very short break, and when we come back we'll rejoin for the we'll have a look at the replay, and then when we come back we'll be back for the next race. Well, we're going to do something a little bit different because there was lots to talk about through that last race, and we need to find out what happened to Craig Lax there because he was challenging very, very hard there, and then it all went wrong. So what we've done, we've saved the replay so we can have a very quick look. We've got about 5 minutes left to kill before we get the next session on the go, so we'll get that back up on the go very, very shortly. But I thought, let's go and have a little look here because, like I say, so much that we need to dig out, especially towards the end of this season. So let's go on board then with Craig Lax then. And it's a good start for Craig, side by side with Jordan Gronkowski, but that is David Simon getting a cracking start there. And just seeing behind there, that sees Craig Lax up into second place, and David Simon trying to make the move around the outside. You can see how much of the power steering, the power sliding that Craig Lax is having to do there. So we'll skip things on a bit here. Oh no, that's what's happened. Craig Lax actually gone wide. An unforced error. Well, yeah, that's... sorry, Craig, I wasn't exactly meant to highlight this. Right, what's happened? He's just went into the second to last corner way too hot. He's dug up some of the grass, and he's went very, very wide indeed. And has tried to bring himself back up there. So, I mean, that's an amazing recovery from Craig Lax to bring himself up to 6th position from that. But that has massive, massive implications for the championship there just now. So, there you go. That is what happened to Craig Lax, guys and girls. We will take the remainder of our break. We'll set up the lobby for race number 2, and we'll be back very soon.
choices that it's hard not to look past. What is real and what is fake, and the risk we have to take. Will we love what is throwing off our balance? We're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot think into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp. There's something greater than ourselves that we must reach for. Into the infinite that we must reach. Into the infinite that we must reach. Into the infinite that we must reach. Into the infinite that we must reach.
Burning down the walls, we let the monsters in. And now we're running down the halls. No, we can't let them win. There's an evil inside, just looking way down below. And if I can't hold my breath, then I'm bound to become hollow. Can you say that I disappeared? Can you say that I wasn't there for you when you went into hiding on the front steps of your porch? Then I reflected on the memories, but I put out that torch. Hey! But I put out that torch. But I put out that torch. So now can you tell me when you want to be in time? There's a million different places and a million different heights. I'll climb the tallest of the mountains, the highest place I find, so that I can look over before me what is mine. Can you say that I disappeared? Can you say that I wasn't there for you when you went into hiding on the front steps of your porch? Then I reflected on the memories, but I put out that torch. Hey! But I put out that torch. But I put out that torch. Oh, why can't you see it was all because of me? And all I want is to be free.
Qualifying underway for the final race of the evening. This is race number 6 for the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship, the PC Finals. And what a race 5 we were treated to there, and this one promises to be even better than that one. So again, the cars will take around about 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes to get their tyres properly up to temperature, and then they will start dialing in some very, very fast lap times. So we'll leave you with the music until we're back there.
That's what I'm
And that makes perfect segue then to go back to the action here. 1 minute 25 left to go, and we pick up where we left off. Craig Lax now currently on pole position, 46.616, followed closely by John Munro, 46.835. Ross McGregor is in third place with a 47.095, and then it is David Simon with a 47.277. Now, what has happened so far to John Gronkowski? He's on a 49.9. 48.9, so he doesn't have the same pace that he had that last time round. We have got in 5th place, that is Michael Johnston. Peter Moore is currently in 6th place. We've got Steve Quinn in 7th, Blair McConaughey in 8th, Richard Crozier in 9th, Owen Ross in 10th place. We've got Kieran Smart in 11th, John Gronkowski in 12th place. We've got James Glendenning in 13th, and then Mark Richards in 14th. But this is where it all changes, ladies and gentlemen. This is where all of the times come down very, very quickly indeed. Craig Lax, 46.361. John Munro has pulled the car off the grass, 46.563. He's not going to get another lap in as well. Ross McGregor is currently on his going to be last lap. He's not going to cross the line in time. John Gronkowski moves up into 4th place, gets another lap in, and he will get this final lap in just now. But it looks like it's going to be Craig Lax on pole. Indeed it is. Craig Lax then from John Munro, from Ross McGregor. John Gronkowski still in with a chance. Peter Moore in 5th place. We've got in 6th place, that is Michael Johnston. 7th place is David Simon. Richard Crozier comes across the line in 8th. Can Richard improve? He does. He moves up in 7th place. That bumps David Simon down into 8th place. No, it doesn't, because here comes John Gronkowski. Jordan can't improve on that. Still a 46.9. We have got in 9th place, that is James Glendenning. You've got Owen Ross in 11th. You've got Steve Quinn in 12th place. Kieran Smart in 13th, and then Blair McConaughey at the back of the grid. Whew, I need to take a breath after that one. Right, that was a total gap of 1.5 seconds across the entire field. Not just like 10 cars, that was all 14 cars within 1.5 seconds. Let's do this. Let's get your final race of the night underway here. And just to remind you, Craig Lax ahead of John Munro for this final race of the evening. John Munro, your new championship leader, by around about, I think he's around about 12-13 points ahead, but again, we'll work out the napkin math very, very shortly. The cars just going through their final warm-up routines. They get around about 2 minutes left on the grid, so we can get a perfect time to take you through 14 cars. It's Craig Lax from John Munro on row number 1. Row 2 is Ross McGregor and John Gronkowski. Row 3 is going to be Peter Moore and Michael Johnston. Row 4 is going to be Richard Crozier and David Simon. Row 5 is going to be James Glendenning and Mark Richards. And that is all we have time for. The final race of the evening is away to get underway. The lights are on here at Brands Hatch, and away we go. The Ginettas roar into life here, and it was a great start for Craig Lax, and it was a great start as well for John Munro. John Munro moves up the inside, they're side by side, down into turn number 1. And John Munro is going to have the inside line coming up in towards Druids. And it's going to be a defensive move there from Craig Lax. So Craig Lax from John Munro, from Ross McGregor, and John Gronkowski gets eaten alive there by Peter Moore. Peter Moore up into 4th place. This is brilliant, brilliant racing, brilliant action so far, as we see a couple of cars coming, and that was tandem drifting going on there from Steve Quinn and from Mark Richards as well. Both of them, oh dear, Steve Quinn having a real time getting that car going in a straight direction. John Munro then just 0.6 of a second behind your race leader, but look at that, Ross McGregor up the inside. I wonder if that was a slow down penalty for John Munro there. He's going to try and take it round the outside of turn 1. Indeed he does. That's a wonderful corner there, but again, that was a lot of curb on the inside. That could be another slow down penalty for John Munro. Meanwhile, Craig Lax now 0.9 of a second ahead of 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, because John Munro just ahead of Ross McGregor, and then it's Jordan Gronkowski getting that 4th place back from Peter Moore, and John Gronkowski moves to the inside. Has to try and scrub a little bit of time off there, and he manages to do that. Further back then, let's have a look here. David Simon in 7th place, just behind James Glendenning in 6th place there. Oh, and another moment there for Craig Lax. Craig Lax has gone all the way down into 3rd place there. And that is a carbon copy. We were looking elsewhere, going further down the list and trying to see about everyone else, and that now puts John Munro back into the lead then. Well, this is a turn up for the books, because look at this. Craig Lax under all sorts of pressure now from John Gronkowski and Peter Moore. But John Munro is coming under pressure himself from Ross McGregor. And this is fantastic for John Gronkowski, because he's going to use Craig Lax as a beacon to try and bring himself back up to that fight ahead. He'll take that toe from the Ginetta in front and catch up to John Munro and to Ross McGregor. So, lap 4, and it's Munro from McGregor, from Lax, from 4th place of John Gronkowski, 5th place of Peter Moore, and John Gronkowski's actually gaining on Craig Lax here. John Gronkowski could be eyeing up a podium for the 2nd race. And John Gronkowski was the fastest man on the track. I tell a lie, it was actually David Simon on that last lap there. So this is fascinating stuff. But look at Peter Moore there. He's right in the slipstream of John Gronkowski. Let's ride on board then with Peter Moore in 5th place. Jordan just moves that car to make it very, very difficult for Peter Moore to get any sort of traction into that corner there. They're coming up to Druids then on lap number 5 out of 12 here. And Jordan has to focus on behind and has to focus on the man in front of him as well, because Craig Lax now starting to eke out a little bit of daylight between him and the man behind him, John Gronkowski. Let's go back trackside then. So back with your leaders then, the gap is now 0.5 of a second between John Munro and Ross McGregor. Craig Lax still desperately trying to catch on to the back of that group, but he's not really making any massive inroads right now. And a side by side between John Gronkowski and Peter Moore up the inside. There's a bit of contact that forces Peter Moore out to compromise his exit, but that also costs a lot of time for Jordan Gronkowski. And there's contact behind as well. That cost, that was David Simon who got put a place down there by James Glendenning, who moves up into 6th place. So John Gronkowski falling well and truly off the back of that train here. And it's still John Munro from Ross McGregor from Craig Lax. That's your 1, 2, 3 for the final race of the evening here at Brands Hatch, our final visit here south of the border. Then we go to Silverstone Gp next week for the Porsches, and that is going to be an amazing final race. We've got, it'll be a 6-lap race through the night, so they'll start off racing at sunset and they will finish racing in the morning after. So it'll be a fantastic little race there, a little tiny mini endurance event. And it's thanks to Project Cars 2 that we can do events like that. Lap 7 out of 12 is in the books, and it's a 0.7 of a second gap that John Munro has got over 2nd place, and Craig Lax has got a time penalty as well. He's going to have to be careful that that doesn't cost him that 3rd place. He's going to have to absolutely put his foot down right now to catch up and take some of that time out, because Peter Moore behind him is less than a second behind him, and that could be the difference, because remember, it's all about points now in these final races. So as it stands, John Munro is going to extend his lead by around about 12 points over what he already had on Craig Lax. And who is that? That is John Gronkowski. Has had a huge moment coming out of Druids. And that has dropped him all the way down to 11th place there. So hard luck there for John Gronkowski. Back with your leaders though, and that gap's starting to come down ever so slightly between John Munro and Ross McGregor. It was 7/10 of a second, it's now down to 5/10 of a second. So Ross McGregor has got the bit between his teeth, and here comes Craig Lax as well. He's getting a bit closer as well, so half a second lost there by your race leader on that last lap round. As we jump into lap number 10 then. Peter Moore now just 1 second behind third place of Craig Lax. And again, he has to be so careful with that time penalty, because that could drop him down from third place into fourth place. But we'll focus our attention further down the field there. We see David Simon in a battle there with James Glendenning. We saw a car going very wide. I think that was Richard Crozier who got it a bit wrong on the exit of the first corner. We see Owen Ross up into 8th place as well. And then that is Mark Richards up into 9th. We've got John Gronkowski all the way down into 10th place there. Blair McConaughey in 11th. We've got Steve Quinn struggling to recover back in 12th place there. You've got Michael Johnson in 13th place. And then at the back of the grid is Kieran Smart. We focus our attention to your race leader now, because that gap is now down to 4/10 of a second between John Munro and Ross McGregor. The penultimate lap of the final race of the evening here. And the pressure now slowly building on John Munro. Can he take it on his shoulders? Down through Clarkston, John Munro gets a good run out of there, but the gap is closing, and Ross McGregor got a fantastic run there. The gap's still 5/10 of a second. We're on to lap number 12 then. The final lap of the race is John Munro from Ross McGregor, from Craig Lax and Peter Moore. That is your top four. Those are the only 4 cars in contention. And we are going to stay with this lead battle right now. John Munro then just needs to hold on for 3 more corners there. Gets a little bit curb on the exit of the second to last corner there. And John Munro exits Clark for the final time. And the final race of the evening then. Race number 2 for the PC finals goes to John Munro. Ross McGregor in 2nd place. Craig Lax is going to finish 3rd. But he gets demoted just as I feared to 4th place. Peter Moore then takes the final podium position. Craig Lax in 4th place. David Simon in 5th. Richard Crozier is going to finish in 6th place. It's going to be James Glendenning in 7th. Owen Ross is going to finish in 8th place. Then in 9th place it's Mark Richards. John Gronkowski comes across the line in 10th. 11th place is Blair McConaughey. And just ahead of Michael Johnson finishes Steve Quinn. So Steve Quinn 12th, Michael Johnson 13th, and then at the back of the grids, let's have a look there who was in 14th. It was indeed Kieran Smart. So there you go. It's a 1-2-3 for John Munro, Ross McGregor and Peter Moore, with Craig Lax finishing in 4th place. David Simon in 5th, Richard Crozier in 6th place. We've got James Glendenning in 7th, Owen Ross in 8th place. We've got Mark Richards in 9th. John Gronkowski finishes in 10th after a disastrous moment halfway through the race. Blair McConaughey in 11th. Steve Quinn in 12th place. 13th place for Michael Johnston. And then Kieran Smart finishes off the race in P14. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was your final race of the evening here for the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. I've been David Christie. We hope you've had a fantastic evening. It's been a real pleasure for us to host, and we will see you next week with more action, this time from Silverstone GP. Join us then. We'll have qualifiers on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Remember, they'll be on YouTube. And then on Sunday, we'll have our final race of the season for the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. We'll be live on Facebook and on YouTube as well. From myself, though, and from everyone here at Camber, have a wonderful, wonderful night. And we will see you next week.